It always felt slightly surprising to me that so few indie games try to copy the Hitman formula, knowing that this license is about to turn 25 in November of this year, and seeing how successful it always was for stealth enthusiasts, if we forget the 10-year period between 2016 and 2016. We already talked about Death to Spice a few months ago, which took inspiration from the earlier Hitman titles, and cranked the difficulty up to 11. This time, we'll talk about The Slater, a game made by a studio of one single person, based in Finland, called Lena Interactive. We'll play Mark Slater, a former cop whose father gets murdered while investigating a new designer drug called D-Pain. And let's just admit that Mark isn't very forgiving. Quite the opposite. He's now hell-bent on revenge and will kill anybody linked with what happened to his father. There are 3 different difficulty levels. We'll simply pick the hardest one, because I think it fits the game best. I'll explain to you why as we go through each single level together. We'll also be getting the Stealth Master in every level, which is the highest rank you can obtain in this game and requires the least number of casualties. So I suppose you could use this video as a guide if you were struggling with the game.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BTT News. I'm David Hoffman. It has been a year since the highly addictive designer drug D-Pain started gaining popularity. Over the past year, the DEA has worked on finding the producers behind this drug, but have so far been unable to find any suspects. It seems the DEA is unable to stop this drug from spreading over the country, and it won't be long, they believe, before it spreads over the entire planet. The police still believe that the murder of DEA agent Ben Slater is related to D-Pain. Slater was found shot to death in his own driveway. The police have no clue or suspects at this time, and it has been over a year since Slater was murdered. At the time, D-Pain was new on the market, and Slater was the lead investigator of the drug. Police say they have also found 2 D-Pain drug dealers dead very lately, but also have no suspects on that case. Some believe it is other drug cartels. Others believe someone has taken the law into their own hands and that they're cleaning the streets. Will there be more dead drug dealers, or will D-Pain continue to spread over the world? The next few months will show us. David Hoffman, BTT News.
Mark Slater.
Mark, we have a new lead. Get ready for your next assignment.
You already probably noticed that the cutscenes are low budget, and while I'm not particularly enamored by them, I decided to include them in this video to keep the identity of the game intact. I'll put timestamp in case anybody wants to skip them. 1 year after the events that led to Ben Slater's death, Mark is no longer the same person, drowning his sorrow in alcohol while he desperately searched for the culprit. He'll receive a phone call from his associate, telling him they've got a new lead, which will lead Mark to Mad Marco's bar. The first mission of the game also serves as a tutorial. There are 2 ways to deal with this mission, but only one way will allow us to obtain the Stealth Master rank. We're here to kill Lex the Ink Rider, and his fellow Marco, Big D, Dealer. We're also here to retrieve the briefcase that Lex carries around everywhere he goes. Normally, we will go this way, execute the robot that holds the key to that door, climb that ladder, jump on the other roof, open the vent, and kill the biker to get his outfit. That way, we will be able to start infiltrating the bar and progressively get a better costume to go from private area to even more private areas. But that way of doing things is flawed, for one simple reason. Mark never learned how to be delicate. He simply cannot leave anybody alive, and the only option at our disposal is to either choke people to death or to murder them with his silenced pistol. Let that be known, Mark isn't here to make friends, and human lives do not matter to him. Now that everything is clear, let's go through the slightly hidden path to the bar. Here, we'll find a keycard. Keycards are some of the most important items, as every mission uses them as a way to gatekeep the player and prevent him from entering important areas too early. Every mission has more than one keycard, and obtaining them all will often be mandatory. Here, we'll cross the vent and run straight for that door that we can open because some doofus left his keycard up for everyone to grab. We'll also be able to open the door there for a costume that will make that mission trivial. There is a code there to open the door we just passed through, but it won't be useful to us. Note that the codes aren't random, and if you memorize them, they'll always work when you replay the game. We can now go back to the previous area where we fell from the vent to kill our first target. Enemies are patrolling around here every so often, but Lex is so busy repeating the same thing over and over again on the phone that he doesn't have the luxury of hearing us creep behind him. We'll also pick up the briefcase that, on the contrary to what you might think, will not alert anybody. We'll now head towards our second target. Our outfit allows us to easily pass everywhere. We'll grab that keycard on the table and open the door to the room next to our target. Here, there will be a giant window. Worry not, only we are able to see through it. Do not ask me why Marco will leave a gun on a shelf in front of a window that will allow anybody to kill him at any time without him even noticing the threat. That's too stupid for me to even consider thinking about it.
Oh, vamos a la playa, pendejos. Híjole. That's a good one, man.
Seems perfectly Spanish to me. Very similarly to Hitman, we'll hide most of our targets in wardrobes or containers. And if we don't, this is what's going to happen. Whenever the alarm is rung, the enemies will automatically know that you're the culprit. Everybody on the map will then decide to go rabid honey badger on you, which means that you have around 5 seconds before they storm your position with the vigor of a teenager about to get laid. The developer explained in a comment on Reddit that he unfortunately knows about this, but cannot fix it, otherwise he'd have to restart making the game from scratch, which will be a shame. We'll live with it, it's not that big of a deal. If somehow you're currently wondering if it's possible to kill all these wannabe murderers before they eventually strike us down, I'll be honest with you and tell you that no, it isn't feasible. To begin with, there is only one gun in this game, and while it does feel more like a tool of pure destruction at times, by that I mean that this gun will automatically kill anything it hits on any body part. Yes, shooting someone in the toe is a death sentence here. It also has an incredibly small magazine, and it takes a really long time to fire multiple bullets in a row. See how slow the gun is to fire? Well, enemies won't have that problem, you can count on that. There is a small trick though. You can spam the button to take out the gun to fire faster, which might give you a chance if you assassinated a part of the map before, but that will still most of the time not be enough to kill them all, as Mark is pretty squishy. Also, there are no in-game saves, so you can try, but each failure will cost you to restart the mission entirely. Raising the alarm doesn't alter the rank you'll receive at the end of the mission. Making it out alive is already impressive enough.
I got it, Jacob. The D-Pain documents.
Excellent. We're finally getting closer. Come on, let's go inside. Listen up, Mark. According to documents, D-Pain drug is produced with only one unique device in a specific secret lab somewhere in the city. There's no address, but someone knows more about the location.
What do you got?
A picture with two names on it. Richard and Catherine Keller. Boys, get out there. See what you can dig up. Let's find something on them.
Are you sure we can trust your boys?
Of course I'm sure. I've known them for years. They worked in the DEA with me and your dad. Me and my boys are the only ones your father counted on. They are reliable. I've got something else here. It's a picture of the D-Pain manufacturing device. Take a look at this.
Huh, looks like a crappy old computer.
Someone's making a hell of a lot of money with it. This device is some kind of new technology, I don't know. Who gives a fuck? It produces the drug, so we need to find it, destroy it, and D-Pain is stopped.
So what's next?
Well, the DEA is corrupted. We can't rely on them. They haven't made any progress in stopping the D-Pain. We have to see this through on our own. We can save thousands of lives, Mark, but if you keep smoking like that, you'll end up as a dead ex-cop.
Huh. Death is always a possibility.
Which is why you need to keep a low profile when going after the Kellers on your next mission. You got that? You just do as I say, Mark, and I promise you, in the end, you'll have your reward, and we'll stop the D-Pain, and you will find your father's killer.
You bet your ass I will. Call me when you have the details.
Meet Jacob, our associate. We are now going in a house party to meet the Kellers. Our objectives are again quite simple, but not easy. This mission is, in my opinion, the hardest in the entire game. Not that the game is particularly hard to begin with, but that mission is the one where I tend to die the most. You'll have to kill the Kellers and find the documents hidden in a safe room in the basement. One important thing to know is that there isn't really a pause button in that game, so whenever the briefing or even the cutscenes are running, the NPCs are still moving around. For some missions, like the first one, it handicaps you and makes it harder to complete the mission, as the NPCs have the time to reach areas where they would otherwise not be if you had skipped everything. Now, let's not keep the Kellers waiting. That mission will easily remind a few people here of the 5th mission of Hitman Blood Money, called A New Life. The objectives aren't the same, but it's clear that Lena Interactive drew inspiration from that level. We need an invitation to the party, so we'll visit the neighbors. Since the door is locked, we'll pass by the roof, and when they're not looking, we'll grab it. We now have access to the Keller's house, at least the first level, because the stairs are blocked by bodyguards. We'll grab the rat poison in the garage, and we'll head to the kitchen to poison Catherine's wine. We'll wait for her in the bathroom, and seal the deal. Catherine's wedding ring has the code to obtain the document we need, so it was mandatory to kill her first. We'll now head up the stairs, but not through the bodyguards, as these gorillas will make Swiss cheese of us. Instead, we'll climb a ladder outside the house and pass by a window. Here we'll wait for Richard to be alone and make sure that he meets the same fate as his wife. We'll use the code engraved on the wedding ring, 742. This will open the door of the elevator and take us to the basement. We are now entering the hardest part of this mission. We do not have any disguise, and this is a restricted area, which in simpler terms means that if anybody ever so slightly sees us, we'll join the Kellers in their future tales in the afterlife. Luckily, the prisoners aren't gonna rat us out, or everything will turn out to be much harder. The trick is to follow that psycho torturing that poor chap, and then sneak around to enter the code to the safe room. It is still the same, 742. Now, getting out is the hardest part, but once you know that noises in this game are much more lenient than what you'd find in other stealth games, then you realize that running is far from being a death sentence. Here, walking simply makes no sounds at all, and running is often safe, if there is a wall separating you from anybody who could hear you. I believe it is even more generous than that, but I played by those rules. We'll take the stairs, open the window, fall from the roof, and we're done with another mission.
Hector,
Killers are gone. They're both dead.
how the hell is that possible?
Someone knows about the device. Someone is coming after us.
Cops?
It wasn't the work of cops. It was more precise and bloodstained. Hector, we have only one device. It's unique. Make sure it doesn't end up in the wrong hands.
The device is safe. My security is tight. Don't worry about it.
Don't tell me not to worry. Just make sure it stays safe. Do you understand?
The device is locked in a bulletproof container, and the access code is hidden in a safe location in my office. I'm the only one who knows where it is. You have nothing to worry about.
Good. Mario will come. Keep an eye on the production of the next batch. We'll find the ones who are after the device. And Hector, make no mistakes.
Jacob, you better tell me the documents got us somewhere.
You're damn right they did. They led us to a Colombian drug lord named Hector Porras. Now, we overheard a phone conversation with Hector and some other guy, but it's probably his brother Juan. It confirms it, Mark. The Porras brothers are the D-Pain source.
Send me the briefing.
Welcome to the Boopsies Club. This is where we'll start seeing a bit of nudity. To be more precise, tits and asses. Nothing more graphic than this. But since I do not wish to have one of YouTube's hitmen at my front door tomorrow morning, I'll censor everything. We're here to hunt two Colombian drug lords and their associate, and to retrieve the D-Pain device. Unlike all the previous missions, we'll now be forced to kill an innocent to achieve our goal. From now on, the number of casualties will increase, and it's not just me playing badly, but something mandatory for the hard difficulty level. It's only possible to complete the game without killing any innocent in the easy and normal difficulty. The hardest difficulty remove costumes and add more enemies. Some people might not like it, but I feel like it fits the game quite well. After all, Mark Slater is nothing else than some drunkard obsessed with vengeance. He doesn't really have any morals anymore, and killing some armed goons to put his hands on his father's killer is nothing that bothers him. Max Payne was probably a big inspiration for the character of Mark, as they both behave in a similar way, outside the legendary quotes, obviously. As we enter the Boopsies Club, we'll lie to the receptionist to get her out of our way. We'll sneak our way through the back room and deactivate the metal detector. Now that we're in, we need 3 different keycards. All of them are pretty easy to find. We'll find the first one on a passed out drunk guy. We'll receive the second from the receptionist, and the last one, we'll steal it from the cleaning staff in the toilets. With the keycard we receive from the receptionist, we'll have access to the room next to Juan Porras, one of the 2 brothers. We'll easily be able to kill him, as he's sniffing something demonic. We'll find another keycard on the desk close to where we did execute him. That one will allow us later on to get to the basement. Our next target is Mario. We'll grab a strip club security suit, steal another 2 keycards. At this point, I'm not even sure what's their purpose, but I take everything I can find. I'm not very familiar with Mario as a person, but if I had to guess, I'd say that he's into some pretty strange things. Luckily for us, we are not that poor chap that is cuffed on the bed. Instead, we're safe up there, with a gun ready to shoot the one that probably should have chosen to be a plumber. The last one on the list is Hector Porras. We'll go to his office. A camera, gently placed inside the vault, will whisper to us the numbers 692. We'll have to do a bit of guesswork to find the password to the alarm, but the numbers 1459 seem to have been used a lot. It's only a matter of time until we find the code. 1954. Hector will now hurry to his office. Better not let the devil wait. Taking the elevator will lead us to the basement. Here we'll need a better costume, and unfortunately, the first Joe passing by will not see tomorrow. In case you're wondering, you cannot damage costumes in this game, so bloodstains and holes are no problems, but since we're clean, we'll just choke him. With this new costume, we'll have access to the drug lab. 692 is the code. Once in possession of the D-Pain device, we can just escape through the front door.
It's over, Mark. We'll destroy it.
Hey, Mark Slater, my favorite ex-cop in town. How are you, man?
I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Listen, I've got something big for you. I know what you've been doing, and I've got some bad news for you, man. The drug lord brothers you killed, they were only a small part of a much bigger organization.
What? What are you talking about, Billy? Where did you hear that?
I got ears around every corner, man. It's my job to know things like that. Have I ever given you false information?
You got proof?
The Godfather, Vittorio Ciccinello, and his underboss, Jack Trench, are the real shitheads you were after. They are the ones running the whole D-Pain shit. The Porras brothers only worked for the family.
I stole the D-Pain device and Jacob destroyed it. It's over, Billy. They can't produce the drug anymore.
Well, that's the thing. The Ciccinellos have 3 scientists still working for them. Those scientists created the original D-Pain device, and they are creating a new one as we speak. Guess what's the good part? I know where those dickheads are doing their science shit.
Anything else?
Well, I've heard a rumor. A former investigator, David Beedman. He knows things. He knows what you have done. He might cause you some problems in the future.
Thanks, Billy. You call me if you hear anything else.
Retrieving the D-Pain device isn't enough. We'll also have to kill the 3 scientists that made it. We'll find them in a hotel, completely booked by the local mafia, the Ciccinello. Our last objective will be to locate the godfather of that same family. For that, we'll plant a transmitter in the briefcase of his driver that is also staying at the same hotel. In this mission, we have access to the security cameras of the area from the comfort of our van, but I've never found that to be very useful. Talking to the hotel receptionist will also not be very helpful. She'll tell us that there is currently no possibility for a stay in that hotel due to the Ciccinello and renovations. Our only way in is to invite ourselves. Next to the front door of the hotel, there is another door leading to a smaller area, currently being renovated. We'll grab the key to the next door on a table here. Inside, we'll find a membership card that will allow us access to the spa. We can change our clothes and head in, but we won't stay there for long. Our target is that guy, going to the bathroom. He has a card allowing us access to the stairs, and we need it. As we finish climbing the stairs, we'll grab a keycard from a busy employee. This card will allow us access to the laundry room. Here, we'll climb a ladder, go through a vent, and execute our first target. We'll find an important password by searching on his computer. Our next step is to go to the renovated area of the building and to kill a construction worker to grab his outfit. That outfit will allow us to go everywhere we need to go. Let's not forget to pick up the rat poison, as it will be useful very soon. We'll pass through the area currently being renovated, hug the wall, and pray we do not sleep. At the end of the way is the room of the Don's driver. Here, we'll simply put the transmitter and let him sleep peacefully. We can now leave and go back to the spa, but this time, we'll visit the VIP area that we couldn't access before. One of the scientists leaves his drink at the bar and comes to drink from time to time. No need to paint a picture for that one. We'll put something in his beverage and wait for him close to the toilets. Here we have two choices. Either we follow him inside quickly enough, as the toilet door can only be opened by your target, or we shoot him through the glass in the office close by. Now, don't ask me why there is a glass window separating the office and the toilets. You know what they say about waterfalls and video games? It's not different here. We found the code earlier on the computer of one of our victims. We just have to overheat the servers and wait for our last target to show up. It's not exactly very nice to shoot a man in the back, but the result is all the same.
What's going on?
The driver's taken the Godfather to meet the inside man now, and we have audio on that meeting. I told you, Mark, the DEA is corrupted.
Are you sure we can hear everything they say?
Of course I'm sure. Now shut the hell up. I'm trying to hear what they're saying.
I'm telling you, Vittorio, the man knows everything. Look, he knows I'm dirty. He knows all about your drug business. He's gonna tell everything to the cops. And he has some evidence with him and a fucking memory stick to fucking prove it.
Who is he?
I don't fucking know. Some David fucking Beedman.
Calm down, Frank. You'll take care of him. And the evidence he has.
And how the fuck am I supposed to do that?
You're the DEA, Frank. You have access anywhere. Here, use this.
Oh, Jesus, fuck. And what happens when they realize it was me?
Don't worry. It won't be seen at autopsy.
You better be fucking right.
You better fucking relax, Frank. When he's dead, Tony will give you your money and access code to the dungeon. You will meet Jack there. Do you understand?
And what about the other issue?
We'll take care of it. Now run along and do your job, Frank. And Frank, no mistakes.
All right, boys, I need to get everything on that memory stick, so you better start working. Mark, your thoughts?
Just get my briefing ready.
This mission seems pretty complicated at first sight, but it's really not once we know our way around a little. We'll need to kill 3 targets and retrieve a memory stick inside the police station. The hardest part of this map is the number of civilians walking these streets, which makes every kill slightly harder to pull out. Now the thing is, I know the game relatively well, and there is little to no RNG involved, hence why the game becomes much easier once you know it. These cops always visit that alleyway at that exact moment. The civilian taking out the trash always leaves us a few seconds to get rid of the body. It is impossible to screw up unless you're too slow, or you do not know what you're doing. That policeman outfit will obviously open up the door to the police station for us, but not only. The bar will also be completely free for us to visit. We'll start by visiting David Beedman, the guy carrying the memory stick.
Mark Slater, how did you get in? Not everything is what you might think, Mark. You want to know a secret about your boss, Jacob?
We won't have much to do. Skinner, the corrupt cop, has already poisoned his drink, and Beedman is about to leave us for a better world. We'll pick the memory stick and leave the police station. It will be much too hard to execute Skinner in the middle of all the cops. Our first target will be Tony. He often goes to the bar, and as he climbs the stairs in the back, we'll execute him. The second target is Strange. He will require us to wait a little bit. We'll be creative and snipe him with a pistol. finally, we'll keep the best for last. Skinner will be waiting for his partners in a dark alley. It's almost too simple. It's also possible to snipe Skinner, if we do not go to see David Bidman directly. The particularity of this mission is that once you know it, it can be completed without bothering to even interact with half of the map. For example, we didn't even go to the dungeon to kill our targets, nor in the center of the map. Those areas are obviously visited the first time you do the mission, as you're still discovering, but once you know how to complete the mission, you can very well choose to never go back there.
Slater.
It's Billy. I've got some big news for you, Mark. I mean, real big. The man you've been working with, Jacob, he screwed you big time. He never destroyed the D-Pain device. He's been trying to get the D-Pain business for himself all along. He even killed your father, Mark. Mark, you there?
Are you sure?
I'm sorry, but I'm sure, man.
We need to meet.
Well. I guess your plan didn't quite work out, did it? You stole the device. Then you figured out we would find out it was you. So you tried to have our whole family killed. Tell me, why did you kill that DEA agent a year ago?
Come on, listen, Vittorio. We can make a deal. I can give you the man who killed all your men. Otherwise, he'll come here and he'll kill you too.
Well, I'll make sure the hotel has a nice private room reserved for him.
Oh, he will. Oh, he'll come here and he will wipe that fucking smile off your face.
Wouldn't he instead enjoy wiping my ass for me?
You'll see. You'll see. He'll kill you.
I'll take my chances. My apologies, but I must go now. I have a business meeting upstairs to attend to. The Middle East is waiting to get their heads high on D-Pain. Do you want me to leave the door open? In case you want to take a walk?
Mark, sorry about your partner being a dickhead.
The Godfather, Vittorio Ciccionello. I need to know where he is. Where did he take Jacob?
Whoa! Sure you want to be messing with him?
Tell me where to find him.
All right. But you have to pay me this time. I'll make a few phone calls and let you know.
There's something else. I need explosives.
Seriously? You lost your mind? You are a seriously fucking crazy motherfucker. Well, I got a suitcase you might like. C4 explosive hidden inside the suitcase and a wide-range detonator.
I'll take it.
Plot twist, Jacob was the man we've been looking for all along. This is the last mission of the game, and everything will be settled at the Vendetta Hotel. There are many targets to execute in this mission. Jacob, a sheikh, and the higher-up of the Ciccionello family. We'll also have once again to grab the D-Pain device. We start the mission by talking to the receptionist. She'll give us a keycard to the room 204, which is gonna be completely useless to us here. Next, we'll meet a drunk woman offering us to get laid. We'll grab the keycard to her room. She'll spend the entire night puking in the toilets, so there will be no risky business today. Sorry guys. We'll follow a janitor going down the stairs. We'll choke him, take his keys and his outfit, which will be very useful to us. We now have access to the basement, but not entirely. We'll pass through this vent and sneak to the left of the next area. Here, we'll shoot down the camera and break the utility box in order to bait one of these goons. Two of them will eventually come. We'll wait for one to leave and choke the other. With this costume, we can now pass easily through the security and face Jacob.
Mark! Oh, thank God. Help me out. Mark, don't just stand there. Help me out.
Why did you kill him?
Oh, God, you just don't get it, Mark. We could have made billions with the D-Pain device. You, me, your father. But no! Your father wanted to destroy the whole D-Pain, just like you. Your father was an unreliable rat. He deserved to die. He was gonna report me, and I had to lie to you to get you on board. You're even worse than your father. Tell me, how many innocent lives have you taken while trying to justify one?
You said, in the end, I will have my reward.
What?
In your hideout, you said, in the end, I will have my reward. Looks like you were right.
Fuck you! Just kill me, you piece of shit!
I'm still puzzled by Jacob's negotiating tactics. I do not think that spitting in the face of an angry man will make things better. But maybe that's some mastermind trick that I cannot comprehend. To be honest though, given how Mark is acting throughout the game, whatever Jacob says, he's done for. Weirdly enough, we can choose to kill Jacob or not. It doesn't change anything for the rest of the mission. Our objective was to find him, not to kill him. We'll still kill him, because I doubt Mark would have done it any other way. On our way out, we'll take back the janitor outfit and head up the stairs to the spa. Here we'll pass two cops and go to the locker room in order to grab our last disguise of this mission. Let's not forget the keycard and document on the desk, because it won't take long for us to need them. The son of the Don is taking a bath with some girls. We'll use the code on the document we just picked up to enter the water control room and raise the temperature. That will make our target head for a shower. We'll slay him there. We climb a few more stairs to reach the third floor. Here we use the keycard that the drunk lady gave us, while she had hopes of shagging us. We'll kill the Sheikh when he goes for a smoke. Now back to climbing some stairs until we reach the fourth and last floor of the hotel. Since there are metal detectors here, we'll be forced to give up our weapon and suitcase, but not for long. Since we're a waiter, and we have access to this whole floor without any problem, we'll just grab our stuff back. We'll also deactivate the camera and the metal detectors while we're at it. This area is perfect because an outside door leads to the room of the Don, and while we do not want to kill him there, we still need to put our hands on the D-Pain device. We'll let ourselves slide across the wall, as there is no fall damage in this game. We'll run to the computer to find out the code, open the safe, and quickly get back to the ladder. Now is the time for the grand finale. 3 of the 4 Chichanello that we have left to kill are in this sound and bulletproof room. The only one left is the Don, and he often comes to visit them. Luckily, the door is unlocked. We'll sneak in to position our suitcase and wait for Marlon Brando from Temu to arrive. As the door closes, they all blow up.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BTT News. I'm David Hoffman. The top news of the day. There has been a major breakthrough in the D-Pain case. Police announced that they have found the leaders of the Ciccianello's crime family dead 2 hours ago in the Vendetta Hotel. All evidence points to the Ciccianellos being the ones behind D-Pain all along. Police say they have no clue who killed these mobsters and no eyewitnesses to the case. According to the DEA, D-Pain was produced with one very high-tech device. That device is nowhere to be found. The DEA believes this device to be worth at least millions of dollars. Is this the end of D-Pain, or will D-Pain continue to spread? The answer is we just don't know yet. David Hoffman, BTT News.
The Ciccianello family had little to do with Ben Slater's death. It all happened because Jacob wanted to obtain the D-Pain device to make money for himself, and that Mark's father was against it. That's not to say that they were innocent, they were obviously criminals, and what happened to them is only sad because it involved the death of innocents. The Slater reminds me of action movies from the 90s, with a bit of Max Payne and a gameplay inspired by the Hitman series, but far from having the same complexity, or even the same freedom. The game doesn't offer many different ways to complete each different objective. Some missions, such as the fifth one, may offer more than one way to do things, but it's always pretty simplistic. Still, while this game doesn't offer the same replayability as the Hitman series, I would say that it caters to the same crowd, as the Slater, like Hitman, often feels more like a puzzle game than stealth. I would only recommend that game to die-hard Hitman fans that aren't bothered by a more simplistic approach to the genre. For others, maybe replaying the old games is a better alternative.